Hello there, dear listener. We just wanted to take this opportunity to tell you that we have a Patreon. By backing us there, you can get access to the KULT campaigns Taroticum, Fallen Angels, and Clavis Inferno, as well as Emissary Lost for the role-playing game Coriolis. You'll also find our Q&A show, where you can ask us about anything relating to role-playing games, as well as raw and unedited versions of our play sessions as soon as we have finished recording. Via Patreon, we also offer campaigns that you can join to play directly with one of us as your GM, as well as the possibility to get a shout-out at the end of each episode as a champion of the Red Moon. Today, we wanted to give you a taste of what is on offer on Patreon by giving you the first episode of our newest KULT campaign, the Judas Grail, with none other than Hjalmar as your GM in his first stint in that role. We have dropped 6 episodes already and 13 raw play sessions, and here is episode 1. Enjoy, and check out the link to our Patreon in the show notes.
The smell of old house and that slightly mouldy basement. Damon, you're in your grandmother Vera's house. It's late August of what has been a very rainy summer, and you're in her old house in Southend-on-Sea, the little town that you grew up in, and that, as far as you know, Peter, your old best friend, is still living in. You're rummaging through the freezer down there in the old basement. She always stocks up on everything. It's one of these huge freezers that is sort of lying on the floor. You wouldn't be surprised if you found your grandfather buried somewhere deep there in the freezer as well. You realize that's a very morbid thought as you're going through the things there. Did you ever actually meet your grandfather?
He passed when I was very young. I guess I was only 2 or 3 years old, so I suppose I met him, but I have no memories of meeting him. But Grandma has always been there. You know, my parents were always very, very busy, so she ended up taking care of me quite a lot when I was young. And we built a kind of bond that's lasted ever since then, really. And after my parents got divorced, then she was kind of the only thing that was still left of that, family that I had. My parents found new partners, so it wasn't really the same to be with them, but to be with her, then everything was as it was supposed to be. So she's this kind of safety net for me.
And this is your paternal grandmother, Vera.
Yes.
Whereas your mom's side is... Do they live in Spain as well? I heard you had a Spanish mother as well, didn't you?
Yes. Veronica. Her parents, they do live in Spain, yeah. I don't really see them. Could it have been 10 years ago since I saw them last?
Yeah. Did Veronica move back to Spain, or did she end up staying in England?
She's in Manchester now. She's with some guy. Can't say that I liked him very much. He sort of brought forth the worst in her drinking problem and all that. It just kind of got worse, and I don't know, we haven't really talked lately.
It builds walls, unfortunately. And you get to the bottom of the freezer as you're rummaging about, and you actually find what you seek. What are you cooking for Vera and your other guests tonight?
I think we have a steak that she had frozen. So I don't know where she gets all this meat. I think she has... she knows everyone in this town, right? So I think the butcher brings her stuff sometimes. Yes, I think it's pretty good meat. So let's see what we can do with that.
Yeah. They come to drop things by, and she loves that. She's keeping very good contact with everyone. Very sociable. Not everybody goes along with that, but some do. Do you like cooking?
I suppose I do, yeah. I ended up cooking quite a lot for myself when I was growing up, Parents weren't coming home on time always, so it was me having to do that, or waiting and being hungry. So yeah, I did end up cooking quite a lot for myself, and I enjoy it. Wish I had more time for it, and I guess I have time for it now, huh? I don't exactly have a lot else going on anymore.
Well, Elsa, your oldest, she will love the steak that you make. She always loved it when you made that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's an early Friday evening, and for once, they have agreed to come to be with you and their great-grandma. So everything has to be perfect. How long has it been now since you saw them?
It's been 2 months.
As you lift up the steak from the freezer, you hear the phone ring on the stair, up the stair, and you hear the slowly limping footsteps of Vera coming to pick it up.
Hello? Oh, hello, Lisa. Oh, how nice to hear your voice. How are you? Oh, yeah? I'm fine. No, I haven't...
Lisa, how do you feel now hearing your wife's name?
Well, hearing it, of course, gives me that kind of sharp pain in my stomach, anxiety, and I feel a bit nervous. She has what is most important to me, she has the children, and she's kicked me out. I don't know if she's ever gonna forgive me. It doesn't make me feel good hearing her name.
Yes, of course. Just a minute, he's in the cellar. Damon!
You feel the steak that you've been holding in your hand. Your fingers have been tightening around it, and you almost get cold yourself.
Oh yeah, I close the freezer and I start making my way up. Be right there.
Mm-hmm. And you can see that she has left the receiver near the phone. It's an old wind dial, one of those you spin around, old style. And then she goes back to watch the film she is watching.
Yeah, and I make my way towards the phone, anticipating an unpleasant conversation. Is it Damon?
Hi, Damon. Hi. How are you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I know you wanted to see the kids tonight, and I know you've both been looking forward to it, both them and you, of course. Well, Elsa has something else that she wants to do tonight, and I've been trying to convince her to come see you this time, but it seems to be very important to her. Yeah, it's a birthday party. She wasn't invited, and then they changed the plans, and apparently this is very important to her.
I understand. Well, when am I gonna get to see her?
Well, I'm sure we can put something else in the calendar. Maybe we could do it next week. I think it's a lovely idea with them seeing your grandmother as well. They've always liked her. You hear Elsa in the background shouting something about that she can't find the dress that she wants to wear.
Yeah, sure. Next week. That'll be fine. That'll be fine, Lisa. Next week.
Yeah. You hear her hesitate a bit. It's almost as if she is as nervous as you are, in a way, about how you would take this, and she leaves a bit of space, as if not really being ready for you to accept this so hastily. Would you like to talk to her, perhaps?
Yeah, of course.
Elsa, it's Damon. Why do you call him Damon? You hear your youngest, Jacob, in the background. He's only 4 and doesn't understand much of what is going on. His remark is followed by running footsteps.
Hi, Dad.
Hi. How are you, little buddy?
Hi. Hi, it's me, Elsa.
And she takes the phone from Jacob.
Oh.
Listen, Martin is having a horse riding party and there's only 10 spaces, so I wasn't invited. But then Gemma got ill because she didn't wash her hands. It wasn't my fault.
Well, that's good that you get to go to the party, Elsa. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I can go to the riding birthday party and I really want to go. I wanted to see you too, Dad, but yeah.
It's okay. We'll do something. We'll just do something next week, okay? And you get to see Grandma too.
Yeah, we want to see Grandma. Didn't we see Grandma, Jacob?
And he's quiet now.
Yeah. I need to go and take my dress. I'll see you next week, Dad.
Yeah, sure, Elsa. Have fun.
And there's a click.
And I put the phone down.
You see, Vera has stopped the VCR and she's looking over your way.
It's just gonna be you and me.
Just the two of us?
Yeah. Elsa had a birthday party of a friend. It was a bit unexpected, but
Was it really that important to her to do that?
She comes up and she comes over to you.
What's going on, Damon? What's happening?
it's all falling apart.
And she holds out her hands to take you by the shoulder, and there's a slight bit of static electricity, and she pulls back her hands.
Oh, Damon. It's so sad, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know why it's happening. I used to have it all, and now I only have you, and everyone else is just disappearing from my life, and I don't know what I've done to deserve it.
I don't know either. I couldn't think of anything that you could possibly have done. You worked so hard to get that job, and then there was, well, Lisa as well, and she's always been so nice. We always got along well.
I mean, yes. Yeah, we did, I guess. It wasn't the same after the kids, you know. I think she wanted to continue working. I think she wanted a career too.
Yeah, they could have come to me more often, couldn't they? I don't know. I guess it was your mum and dad that had their hand in things as well.
Yeah.
What are they up to tonight, then? What's my little son doing?
Oh, I don't know. I think he's probably with his kids and with his new wife. They seem happy, you know. It's different.
It is. It's also very different. Nothing is as it should be, really. I suppose we're just that family. Look, we have to be happy that at least we have each other.
And she takes you by the shoulders again, and this time there's no static electricity.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you're here, like you always have been, Grandma. I don't know what I would do if it weren't for you.
And she freezes up for a moment, as if she's looking at something in your hair or around you, your face.
I smile.
Yeah.
And she lets you go, and she goes down to sit and continue watching a film.
I'll just get the steak ready. All right, Grandma. I mean, I'll probably cut it into two. We'll leave the the rest for later, huh? And when there's more of us. I think they'll come next week.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, let's make sure they come next week then. No birthday parties on that day.
I don't think that her friends can have birthday parties every week. Next week, for sure, yeah.
She's absent-mindedly talking as she's watching Men in Tights, which she believes to be Prince of Thieves. And you go up and you get to the kitchen, which is on the first floor, and you start fixing up the steak, and you start cutting a bit of the things that you need to get in there, vegetables and so. As you are standing there chopping away at the cutting board, you feel distracted. Life is slipping through your hands. And at this moment when you feel a bit distracted, I'd like you to roll for Haunted.
That is a 12.
At this moment, when you feel a bit distracted, the knife slips and you almost cut yourself. Almost. There's a scratch on your nail. You're upset. You need to collect yourself. What do you usually do to collect yourself?
I try to go for a walk. Just walking and thinking. And sometimes when there's no people around, I talk to myself quietly. I mean, the steak, it's frozen, so it'll need to thaw a little bit before I can really properly start working on it. So, Grandma, I'll just go out for a walk, okay?
Yeah, you do that.
You enjoy the movie?
Yes, it's very good, though Kevin Costner doesn't look at all like himself these days.
Who does these days, huh? And I moved to leave the apartment and to try to get some air and just process what's happening and process my disappointment and my feelings of being completely useless and unloved.
It's raining heavily, and you have to put either something on not to get drenched or just take a big umbrella. Maybe one of your old granddad's.
I kind of like it when it's raining. Hearing the pattering of the raindrops on the umbrella. It just sort of adds an ambiance to me talking to myself.
Since you're walking through the town, you can always drop by at Peter's place, perhaps.
Yeah. That could be nice. I mean, I won't need to be back for a few hours. I could go say hi to him. I mean, he's also someone who's still around. You know, he hasn't disappeared. At least not yet. Although his recent success and, I guess, fame is maybe going to take him away as well. We'll see.
I'm sure he would blush heavily and bash that comment away. Though he has done well. He did have that book signing in Camden Town that you attended. He was very pleased to see you there. I'm sure he'd be happy to see you now as well. He's still around, surely.
Yeah, I'll head to Peter's.
Peter. The Himalayas, forming the northern border of Nepal. It makes for a fantastic view once you reach a certain altitude. You've been on a drive to Dulik Hell, together with Noemi, the girl you're seeing and whose name you never can get completely right. It's supposed to be some sort of spiritual journey while enjoying the panoramas as well. You had to go on a group trip, of course, not like your budget would stretch to anything more exclusive than that. Buried under the tall Jeep's hood, you carefully let go of the wire that you've twisted together with another wire. It's not going to hold. Not without some sort of adhesive. If only you had some electrical tape. Right. Perhaps your heel plaster will do it. All this walking has given you some nasty blisters, but that plaster might be just enough at least to get you home. What shoes did you bring for this trip?
Well, I just bought the shoes I normally wear, I guess. I didn't really think about the sort of footwear I'd need for this sort of trip. After all, I've not gone anywhere for such a long time. This whole experience is... I mean, it's good, right? I used to love going on holiday before... well, before then. So it's good to be out again in the fresh air. Alpine mountains that go on as far as the eye can see. It's really quite something, isn't it?
Yeah. You see the snow on the tops as well, and it gives you a slight shiver. You haven't been on any ski trips since that time, have you?
No. I couldn't, Well, I don't know. Maybe I could. Now. I'm better after all, but... I don't know. There's still something about the ski pole that haunts me. Probably why it was featured so heavily in my first big book.
Yeah. It kept coming back. Well, it's all supposedly part of the healing process. Or at least, that's what he says. You're a psychologist. Dr. Lexington, is it?
It is Dr. Lexington, and what can I say? He knows what he's talking about. It does work. For the most part, anyway.
Yeah. As you rip off the plaster off your foot, it stings a bit. The sensitive skin. A little bit comes off, giving you an extra hint of pain. How are you with physical pain?
Who likes actually getting hurt? But I'm used to getting a couple of scrapes here and there. Especially, well, from some of the things I did in my younger days. Still, I wince a little, look over the plaster, kind of wish we had better first aid kits out here, if I'm honest with you.
This is something that Noemi brought with her. It's a little Mickey Mouse plaster. Maybe it'll work. Hopefully it will. The wires are still in place, so if you just put this carefully around...
Yes, I reckon it's an old trick I used to know. Not exactly always accurate, but maybe in this particular situation, it's going to help. Maybe.
The driver, a mechanically clueless man who obviously hasn't tended his Jeep properly, gives you a nervous smile and a thumbs up with a questioning look.
Well,
Can he start it?
Your tour guide asks as if the question wasn't clear enough.
Well, hopefully. Now, don't be putting too much money on it, but I think that it might be alright if you just start it nice and easy, though. Nice and easy, yes? Don't go too hard on the old pedal.
And the tour guide fires off a salvo of a language that you don't understand. And the driver nods, looking still nervous but smiles, and you hear him turn the ignition, and there's a loud roar as the engine starts in the Jeep. And all of the people start cheering inside the tour Jeep. This little company that you've travelled with now.
I admit I look a little anxious for a moment. I'm, not so used to large group praise, although a little part of me thinks I suppose I'm going to have to get used to that now, aren't I? The book signing was a big thing after all. Might be many more. Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah, you're feeling hopeful for the future. And you bang down the hood of the car, And you see Noemi sitting there back in the seat. She's a Belgian girl you met in London 2 years back. 2 years. You've been seeing each other for 2 years, and it still gives you a strange itch when you think about calling her your girlfriend. She's dressed all in black with her hair dyed in the same color, tall and lanky like you. As you get up into the Jeep, she says, "You really can't do anything."
Oh, I don't know if I can do anything. Sometimes all you need is a little bit of will and, the desire to use your hands to do things, you know?
Yes, I like it when you use your hands. She leans in for a kiss.
And I give her a little peck on the cheek. It's nice. It was slow going when we first started, but I think I'm starting to become very comfortable with her. It's nice to have someone, you know, actually there, present, that sort of thing.
She does make you feel comfortable. She appreciates what you do. She appreciates everything that you do. She has been sitting there in the Jeep while you were buried under the hood, and she's taken some photos with her camera. She's really excited. And it would be an amazing moment, this, to share with someone that you are really, really in love with. I mean, this girl is great, and she loves everything you do. Your writing, your every little skill you have on the side. It's just somehow everything that she does just feels a bit mediocre, especially now that things are going even better for you. You look at her raising the camera along the bumpy road, and you know the photos will either be blurry, it'll catch the light wrong, or it won't catch anything. It's not like Gabriella's photos. I mean, what's the photo that Gabriella took that you made a really big print out of back home?
I suppose it was of a deer. I had no idea how she actually managed to get it, but she managed to get a picture of a baby deer just sort of poking its head out, looking out across a lake. It was very impressive. Something about its eyes. I don't know. I'm starting to think silly thoughts. I often think times like this.
It was better that you actually took that photo down, which you did, because it just reminded you of her, really. It's better that you think of the person who's there for you and who appreciates you, and, well, she makes you feel comfortable, right?
Exactly. I don't like that. I don't appreciate her more. But then again, do I even appreciate myself these days? I think I'm getting better, but I still have my moments where, well, let's just say the books aren't stopping anytime soon, because they help. They really do.
Yeah. You sit there in the Jeep as it thrums along, and you think about that and what this journey was supposed to be for you. It was supposed to be a couple thing, but also a spiritual thing. An indication, perhaps, that you were finally starting to get better and could think of more of what you actually wanted out of life, rather than life having its way with you.
It's a chance to actually be someone, which was what I always wanted in the first place. It just was difficult. But of course it would be difficult. I don't feel... Dr. Lexington's helped me get over feeling that there was something wrong with being traumatized by what happened. Who wouldn't be traumatized by such things, you know? I'm not alone. Even though I felt like I was for a very, very long time.
Yeah, you did. Well, you have someone, and there's people that you shared the experience with as well. It's just that somehow they seem to be able to go on with their lives. Even Oliver, who was the one, he seems to be doing something of himself now. Sophie, she moved, where did she move? Somewhere in Europe.
I think it was Italy. I can't quite remember. I haven't really spoken to them for a long time now. I suppose we just started drifting apart from each other. Only really Gabrielle and Damon, of course. Although even he... I was really glad to see him at my book signing, but it had been a while since I'd seen him before then, and I don't really know what's going on with him and his wife anymore, his children. I'm glad he has a family, though. He always wanted that, and he always wanted to do good at his job. And he worked hard to do it, and I was always happy for him.
Yeah. It's incredible what he managed to pull together. It's always been like that. Always setting goals and always fulfilling them. And maybe that's what you can do now too. At least work-wise. You don't know if relationship-wise if you can actually go on and go where he went, like getting a family and that. You feel somehow being away from your writing a bit, being away from everything else, that the distractions make you see things in a different way. And Noemi is a lovely girl, but is she really right for you?
Maybe no one is. I don't know. I feel like there's something missing still. I kind of feel there's always been something missing. Probably why I look into the things I do. Looking for answers to the big questions, which at the end of the day, I don't know exactly what any of it means. I sort of sit there for a moment, looking at the mountain view, seeing the darkness in this beautiful view as well, where the shadows just start, imagining what lies in them. Silly, really. It's a lovely, beautiful day. Why would I be imagining that sort of thing? But it's where my mind goes. What can I say?
Yeah. You feel her arm finding its way through sort of tangling itself with yours. And she's holding you close, almost clinging. Maybe she feels it too, that longing for something else, somehow. Yeah, she has pain too. Doesn't make things easier, however, but I don't know. Maybe at some point we'll have to come to you making a decision.
Maybe. I feel like I should be saying something, but I don't. I just let us be quiet for a moment. There's nothing wrong with quiet.
Yeah. She doesn't seem to have anything on her mind right now as well. Damon, the rain keeps falling and falling as you make your way through the town. There are lights on in most windows. But as you get to Peter's place, it seems dark. Might be no one there.
I should have called him first, I suppose. Well, who knows? Maybe he's still there. Maybe I should just go ring the door, see if he opens up. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, do that. You go up to the door and you ring. Barely hear the bell from the inside because of the constant noise of the rain. No one there. It could be on the backside, perhaps. Sometimes he sits outside, even in the rain. There's a little porch there, little porch section.
Yeah, I'll go check there. I really want to talk to him, so I don't mind the extra effort.
Yeah. You come to the back of the house. The door is locked. Do you knock on it? What do you do?
Yeah, I do. I knock on the door, hoping that he will be there, but not necessarily expecting it, just really, really wanting that he be there.
It's dark inside here as well, as far as you can see. But something catches your eye to the side. It's the window. It's half open.
Oh, did he forget it open? I moved to check what's going on. If I can maybe hear anything, maybe I can call into him.
You almost tread on some plants standing under it, but you manage to not crush anything that seems too pretty. There seems to be no one at home. You try to call his name?
Yeah, Peter. You there, Peter? Is it Damon?
You're not sure, but you think almost you heard something scramble.
I don't know what it is that makes me do what I do next, but maybe it is what happened earlier during today. Maybe it is everything that's been happening recently. Maybe it's this wish to unlock some of all these mysteries that I keep coming across, finding the truth of something, however mundane, like why is this window open? I mean, it's not as if Peter's gonna call the cops on me if I go inside, is it? So I start climbing inside through the window if it's big enough for me to fit through.
Yeah, it is. You have to struggle a little bit, but you manage to get in there, and you are met with the familiar smell of Peter's home. Almost the childhood feel to it.
I try to find the closest light button to try to light the place up.
Yeah, you turn on the lights and you see the things in here that you have seen so many other times. There are some notes out, ideas for books. You see pictures of that Belgian girlfriend that he has. Noemi, you think her name is? Did you ever meet her?
I think I met her at a party. Maybe it was after that. Was it after that book signing, perhaps? Or
Yeah, she was there.
yeah,
Yeah.
she seemed nice. You know, not so much. You know, not the deepest person on the planet, but decent enough, and it seemed like she was making him happy. So, you know, that's good. I'm happy for him. You know, kind of jealous at the same time. You know, I miss that.
She was fawning over him. It's a good description.
It's a long time ago since my wife did that for me. It's before the kids.
Yeah. And since you did that for her, perhaps? Or has it been more the other way around lately?
I don't know. I think we grew apart. But I think she started it. Well, I'm inside here now, so I heard that noise. That was weird. So I begin looking around. Hey, Peter? You there?
You're met with muffled silence. The rain still outside. It's almost like the walls are encroaching on you. Peter has a little house. It's not too different from your grandmother's, though she has a basement as well. But Peter has a... Well, Peter, why don't you describe your house?
It's not a family home, but it's a place my brother actually bought. But then he gave it to me when I was younger because I was struggling back then, of course, and he went to look after Mum and Dad at theirs. So it's kind of become mine. It's a nice little house, really. As you said, it's quite messy. A lot of haphazard things. Lots of decorations as well, actually. Even though I didn't travel much, I did a lot of buying of weird looking items that I thought were interesting. So there'll be lots of masks from various countries on the walls, old tapestries, paintings, a lot of books. And of course, lots and lots and lots of bric-a-brac. Bits of rubbish, bits of tech stuff, old computers, screwdrivers, toolkits. A bit haphazard, really.
Yes. You make your way upstairs, and you still don't hear any noise. There are a few rooms up here. It's just a bathroom, toilet, and I think that one must be Peter's bedroom. Maybe the other one is his sort of workspace. Where'd you go?
I try to make it towards his workroom.
You go in and you step up to the door. Still don't hear anything.
Peter?
But it might be from around here that the noise came. He could be in there. Maybe.
I knock on the door.
Fall asleep in his work.
Peter? I don't know why I'm so convinced that he's here, but I am. He has to be here. I need him to be here.
You feel almost as if the house is holding its breath in the silence that follows your knock. There's no answer.
I slowly open the door.
You do, and you come into the workspace. How does that look, Peter?
So, there'd normally be a very brightly lit computer on, but currently it would probably be off. The walls are covered in bookshelves filled with documents, books, scratchings. Lots of filing cabinets of scribbles and old bits of paper. A bed. Not the worst bed in the world, but not the greatest bed. Looks like someone's tossed and turned a lot in it. And, again, quite a few boxes of more technical stuff in here. Old circuit boards, old keyboards, wiring. A couple of pictures on the wall.
Yeah, one of the pictures are of a cartoon. Which cartoon is it?
DuckTales. Scrooge McDuck diving into a pool of money.
And that's his ambitions right there. As you look up at that, you hear a loud noise in the hall outside, and someone is suddenly running down the stairs.
And I begin moving after that sound. Peter? You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Role-Playing, where we play the campaign The Judas Grail for Cult Divinity Lost. The Judas Grail was written by Gary Fay and was published by Target Games in 1996. The music was made by Atrium Carceri and was used with permission from their label, Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody, dark ambient. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, and Julia for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want early access to our content and to hear raw versions of our recordings right after we've done them, or join a campaign of Cult Divinity Lost as a player, please check out our new higher level tiers on Patreon. It's a great way to get more Red Moon role playing in your life, and to help us keep the show going. Thank you again for listening, and remember, death is only the beginning.